guys, my name is Alice and this is my first ever tutorial. It is on how to make a Madoka Kaname cosplay from the anime Polymagi Madoka Magica. I've cosplayed Madoka once before, but I hated the way her dress came out, so I decided to remake it to be 10 times better than before. I hope this tutorial will help out any other Madoka cosplayers make their cosplays excellent as well. This first video will be on the things that you will need. So you're gonna need a lot of stuff to create this, first of all, and the actual process of how to make it will be in the next few videos because it's going to take a while. So I figured I'll just cover all this here, and if you already have your materials, just feel free to skip this video entirely and move on. So I'm gonna start with thread. So I had to think about that one for a second. So you're going to need like 3 main colors because Madoka has, or 4 main colors actually. Mostly white, a pink to match your the pink fabric that you will buy, and the red, and the darker pink for some of the accenting. I don't have a big one of those, a big spool. You're going to need, if you're going to do this by machine, which I highly recommend you do it by machine because it's very tedious and will take up a lot of time if you do it by hand. But anyways, if you do it by machine, you will need bobbins, obviously, to sew on the machine with. You're going to need scissors, fabric shears. Don't use paper scissors, it's never good. You will need pins, put those in the back, a measuring tape, a seam gauge if you have one. If not, you can use a ruler or, you know, whatever. It doesn't have to be too specific. A ruffle foot, this is optional, especially if you're doing it by machine. It just, you put it in the machine like a foot attachment and it makes ruffles. I only recommend that if you want to make really thick, dense ruffles. If you want to make lighter, more fluffy ruffles, then I would just gather it by hand. Seam ripper. You're going to need an invisible zipper. This one is the 12 to 14 inch invisible zipper in the pink color for the dress. You might be able to get away with using a smaller one if you don't want too long a zipper, or you might need a longer one if your torso is longer than that. You're going to need a white bias tape. I think this is the inch wide bias tape, and it's not the double fold one, it's the single fold. And you only need 1 package of that. And you're going to need a couple packages of the double folded extra wide red bias tape, which is the 1/2 inch wide one. You're also going to need a machine if you do decide to do it by machine. There's my lovely sewing machine. Now I'm gonna go over some fabric stuff. This is kind of a gray area because my laptop's gonna die. It's not good. Okay, because the amount of fabric that I will need to make my dress could be more or less than what you will need. These dimensions of fabric that I am going to just tell you that I got from mine will be for somebody who's making a, like, a standard small size, or like maybe like a medium. So like somebody that has a like a 30 inch waist could probably use this amount of fabric, but somebody who has a wider waist and a wider bust, especially because I don't have anything on my chest, will probably need more fabric than that. So right here I have my white fabric, which is 4 yards, and it's just cotton fabric. It's not anything too special. You're going to need a darker pink to make your bows out of. This is just a little scrap, but you're going to need about a yard of this. You're going to need something to line your bodice with, and I would not recommend a lining fabric because I'm making this all out of just plain cotton fabric or a cotton polyester mix, so I don't really want to throw satin into it or anything like that. Interfacing for your bodice. Right here I have about 2 yards of interfacing because you're going to need to fold it in half in order to cut out your bodice pieces. And the most important one is your pink fabric for the main dress itself. Now right here I have about 3 yards. For me, I know that's going to be plenty, so you're probably not going to need really all 3 yards unless you make a mistake. It's relatively thin, which is why I said to buy interfacing, because the bodice won't be too sturdy, which is part of the problem I had with my previous dress, is that the bodice was so lightweight. The skirt, because it had so many ruffles and so much heaviness to it, just pulled down the bodice, and it pulled, and it was really ugly, let's put it that way. Yeah, it's just pink fabric. You can choose, I guess, whatever color you feel. Like if you want to make a yellow Madoka, I would just buy yellow. You're also going to need 4 shank buttons that are pink. There they are. You're also going to need a zipper foot if you're doing this by machine. This is just like a cheap little plastic one, nothing special. You can get it at JoAnn's Fabric. Oh yeah, speaking of JoAnn's Fabric, I bought all of this stuff that you can see here, except for the machine. I didn't buy the machine there. So I guess a total price range for this, I think I spent about $40 on the fabric, the thread, and the zipper and the bias tape and the button. So yeah, it was like $40 altogether. And then in the end you will need to get a wig, unless you want to dye your hair pink, which works as well. I bought a wig. It's here. So there's my Madoka wig. It's already got the bows in it from the previous cosplay. I'll just, not very tall, so yep, there it is. I will show you guys how to style it to make it a little more poofy, because right now it's actually really droopy because the pigtails weren't styled initially. Okay, so I'm gonna go over some things that you should know. Yeah, I have it written down here so that I didn't forget everything. So this is a one-piece dress tutorial, not a top and a skirt tutorial. So if you're looking for something that you can have for 2 pieces, I would not recommend this tutorial. There are plenty of other great tutorials out there that do have the top piece and the bottom piece for Madoka specifically. So I will try to link those other tutorials in the description so that you can look at those instead, because they're really good tutorials and I definitely recommend them. Also, there's a zipper closure in the back. I mentioned that before with the zipper foot and the zipper. You're going to need to know how to put in an invisible zipper, because I'm not going to go in depth into that, and it can be a little tricky for people that are like first-time sewers or, you know, don't have too much experience. That's another thing about this tutorial, is that you're really going to want to brush up on some of your skills, because some of this is a little tricky, and again, I'm not going to go too in-depth into it. I'm just going to explain like how to do it, and just gonna hope you understand what I'm telling you. I mean, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section, and I will try to get back to you and explain to you how to do whatever you need explained, because again, this is my first ever tutorial, so I'll probably not explain some things too well, and might just brush over them completely without even thinking about it. I will try to answer all your questions to the best of my ability, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you will enjoy the future tutorial. Thank you!